It's a rare but occasional occurrence that a game you play really sticks with you. It could be something that you've been waiting for the last few years, or several, if it's Silksong. One of those titles that when the credits roll, you're left sitting there thinking, oh my god, I am never going to get that same experience again. I can think of some games I've played that have left me feeling like this. Red Dead 2, for its incredible storytelling and characters. Dark Souls, for its tragic but awe-inspiring world. Rainworld, for its incredibly unique, unbelievably frustrating, but really immersive world.
Cool.
Yet one game, a game that I knew absolutely nothing about before playing, has stuck with me and remained in my top 3 favourite games of all time, above all these other titles. And that game was Spiritfarer. For context, when I first played Spiritfarer, I had just come off the back of playing Zartom's indie classic, Disco Elysium. A game which has given me immense respect for its art director, Alexander Rostov, and the writer and director, Robert Kurvitz. And it's introduced me into one of my favourite bands of all time, Sea Power, or British Sea Power, if you go by the original name. So why didn't Disco Elysium stick with me in the same way as Spiritfarer? Now, not to take anything away from Disco Elysium, it was an absolutely incredible experience, and I think it's one of the best written indie games of all time. It's absolutely incredible, and I will not throw shade at the game because I absolutely love it. But to bring my own personality into this, I had been waiting to play Disco Elysium for a long time. I had heard a great many things about its incredible writing, post-industrialist setting, and witty political commentary.
You're not an ultra-liberal, Harry. Get the fuck out of here. Don't be a retard.
At the same time, I had Spiritfarer on the backlog from just hearing some praise regarding the game from a brief mention in a different YouTube video. The game was free on PS Plus Extra at the time, so I thought, I might as well. But other than that, my exposure to the game was finite. The game's description, a cozy management game about dying, was all I really had to go off. I think part of this underexposure is one reason why I enjoyed Spiritfarer so much. I like to play and watch everything practically blind. If something new is coming out that I'm interested in, I'll watch the first few trailers usually up until the release date announcement, and then I'll just wait until the game comes out from there. I try to avoid as much online discussion as possible, but with Spiritfarer, a game which at the time of about 4 years after release, I knew nothing about. The game had very little discussion surrounding it. So going into the game, I had a fairly open mind of what to expect, just because, well, I didn't know what to expect. The game after 1 year managed to sell 1 million copies, which was an absolute massive success for the developers, Thunder Lotus. But with other indie staples like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Hades and Spelunky 2, as well as the consistent popularity of other similar farm sim games like Stardew Valley, Spiritfarer kind of flew under the indie radar for a lot of people. I think the COVID release window helped the game with the sales, especially for a comfort game during a time where most people were stuck at home. I played the game on PS5, but eventually it was taken off of PS Plus Extra, which is where I managed to play for free. But even after I'd 100% completed the game and they'd taken it off of the store, I went out of my way to buy it again. I got the game again physically, which meant that it came with a few extras, these sick-ass postcards, and it also came with a digital art book and soundtrack. The game goes on sale every couple months for about 90% off, which usually makes it about £2.50 or $3.50 if you're American, which is absolutely criminal for the near 30-hour experience that this game gives you on a first playthrough. Okay, so what is Spiritfarer? Who is this girl? What are the spirits? Are they furries? Why are we on a boat? Who is this big dude? And when is Silksong coming out? Well, thankfully for you, I can answer almost all of those questions. You plays this girl, Stella, or her cat Daffodil if you're playing co-op. Stella has just arrived on the River Styx and is now the new Spiritfarer. You're appointed by Karen before he departs through the Everdoor, which is based on the Devil's Bridge in Germany, as he tells you to guide the spirits there as their final request. Though realistically, you're not going to be very likely to do that due to attachment issues with said spirits. It's hard to say goodbye, and as you find out more about these spirits, their lives, and their connections to Stella, their interpersonal relationships with others, their quirks, likes, dislikes, you're pretty likely to find at least one spirit that you can relate to. The game evokes a relatability within its characters that tell stories to the audience that they're able to connect to. I've seen online discussions of people who have had to put the game down for this very same reason, as seeing a connection between an in-game spirit and someone you knew in real life who was put into that same situation, it can make the game incredibly emotional. If you play the game, which you should, I highly recommend purchasing the digital art book. It provides context and explanations of why characters are the way they are, and it outlines how some of the spirits are based on real people that the development team had lost in their own lives. I think for me, what makes a good game comes down to consistency. I've played games in the similar sort of 2D side-scroller visual novel genre that Spiritfarer is kind of a part of. Spiritfarer is a farming sim. The general gameplay loop kind of takes a backseat role. It functions as a means to progress storylines of the game's characters, whilst creating a kind of multifaceted, positive feedback loop for the player, which makes it sound complicated, but it's actually quite simple. The example game that I can compare it to is actually Subnautica. It's a crafting loop where you explore the world to find resources, which then allows you to create more equipment that makes more of the world accessible to you. As you progress, you'll gain more tools to make this exploration and progression more convenient, faster, or engaging. You'll go from managing one spirit and a couple of facilities, with areas like a kitchen or a garden, to many spirits will request for you to visit different areas from around the world, and as they do so, they provide you access to new gameplay mechanics. It's never overwhelming, however. The game encourages you to take your time, and more so just to take in the beauty of everything as you guide these lost souls to their final resting place. You'll also meet a lot of interesting faces throughout the game, such as this dude whose theme song absolutely fucking rocks. Seeing your boat thrive from just being a small vessel to a full-scale on-sea village, equipped with a foundry, gardens, livestock, entertainment facilities, and then houses where you stack your preferred spirits atop the ones that you don't like so much. It helps to create a really satisfying visual representation of all the progress that you've made throughout the game. The game furthers its story elements in this way to reflect the harsh reality of what life is like when you've lost a loved one. Almost everything you build on the ship is salvageable, but not the houses. Once the spirit leaves, like the home or a room of a lost loved one, it's just there. It's a really tragic, but a really powerful piece of visual storytelling. One of my favourite parts about Spiritfarer, and how my point of consistency with the game persists, is with the game's presentation. Spiritfarer's creative director Nicholas Guerin stated in an interview with GameSpot that one of the key concepts some developers aren't naturally used to is the fact that when you're doing art, it has to be coming from you, from yourself. You have to expose yourself. You have to be vulnerable. Listen, I don't have to explain why this game is gorgeous, just look at it. The animations are so expressive, and there's so much detail and movement and flow to everything. The game looks gorgeous. The game was initially planned to take place on a train with the focus on that kind of traditional nostalgia, but the decision to switch to a boat hotel style, however, became a natural point of progression for Thunder Lotus. Now, the music, oh my god, the music. Max LL is the incredible artist behind Spiritfarer's soundtrack, and I'm just going to play you a few excerpts from throughout the game, and you'll see what I mean. Everything has an immense ambience to it that is both tragically somber yet really beautiful. The game's leitmotif is ever present, and when you hit those credits, I tell you, you will feel nothing like it. Now, this is my first real video, however, I've known for a very long time, at least in the year since I've played Spiritfarer, that it's what I've wanted to discuss. To share this hidden, underrated, and really underexposed masterpiece with the rest of the world, if I can at least convince even one of you to play this absolutely beautiful, unique hidden gem, then my goal for this video, my request, will be complete. Thank you for watching.